2025, and it's the last recording of 2019. You guys will likely get this shortly after the beginning of 2020 because Diana's too much of a social butterfly.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna go out on New Year's Eve.
I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. More specifically, I don't have anybody to go out on New Year's Eve with, so I have no assistance in the dark. So I'm stuck at home. So I'll be getting up early. Like I do every year now. It's great. No. Oh, I was listening to CBC radio morning program. Not a shock, guys. I was actually on it yesterday. But they were talking, they had the marketing directors for the zoo lights and the forks on this morning.
Oh yeah.
God, I want to go to the forks.
What's going on at the forks?
They've got fireworks and they got the warming huts and they got all their stuff open and there's lights going on. I'm like, screw this nonsense. I don't want to be stuck at home. Dang it. I swear too much. Anyway, we're going to talk about knitting at some point. Diana's going to let everybody know what we're going to cover, and we will get there when we get there. I'm high on sugar and coffee here, and I will be eating as we go because there are dessert treats in front of us.
Oh yes.
That needs to happen.
So much sugar. I have a sugar headache already, and I've only had
two pieces.
I know.
You are such a... We gotta listen. We're working on Diana because we need to bring her up to advanced level sugar consumption. This
I think that might just kill me.
Tragic. Like a 4-year-old can eat more sugar than you can.
Yes. Yes, they can.
That's just wrong.
I freely admit this. Anyway, today we're covering what's in our cup, cool threads, woolly workings, yarn on the go, wool gathering, and kniterature.
I already forgot the company name of that syrup I can have. Guys, I found a flavoring syrup I can have. And I can have like half of the line of flavoring syrups. Tragically, I can have the caramel one. I don't like caramel, so that's not going to happen. But I can have the chocolate one. So I got a white chocolate cranberry one I can have. I bought the vanilla bean Jordan skinny syrup.
I think so. Yes? Yes, that's what I wrote down.
That's what I have on my counter. Not because it's 0 calories, not because it's 0 sugar, not because well, Diana knows me. She knows I get really moody about my waistline and my weight anyway. Not even because it is corn-free. Because Johnson can have, and apparently they have pretend foam toppers, which I'm going to try to find because if those are free too, corn-free specifically, I will also buy those. And I will have no real ingredients in my coffee and on top of my coffee.
Alright.
Well, I drink, you know me, I drink Starbucks coffee, I drink second box coffee, I drink coffee shop coffees, but I pay every time because I'm allergic to the syrups. So drinking one of those coffees guarantees me an allergic reaction later on. And I know what I'm doing and I do it to myself, so I don't complain. Diana can assure you I don't complain. If I drink something that I've chosen to do that it's my fault. I will complain if I'm not expecting it. I haven't chosen to do that to myself. But I'm super excited to have a syrup. I can make fancy coffees at home that don't hurt me. It's really nice.
I brought my milk frother, so we've got some fancy homebrew Starbucks coffee with, well, the foam's kind of melted away now, but we did have chocolate milk foam and vanilla syrup.
Well, I'm left behind chocolate milk, so we're utilizing it by frothing it and putting it in coffee.
This is quite good, actually.
I know.
This is fairly amazing.
Yeah, with the syrup, because the syrup's not sweet.
Not especially, no.
No, it's just got that nice flavor profile to it, which is beautiful. We're drinking out of my mugs, obviously, since we're at my house. I gave Diana There's Always Time for tea mug.
Yep, drinking coffee out of the tea mug.
Well, I do it all the time. And I'm drinking out of my Knit City 2018 mug I bought from the Cozy Up Knit Sisters.
Coffee.
Mostly because this is just the mug I go to drink my coffee out of in the morning. Did some French press fancy roasted beans that I ground this morning while the water was boiling.
Well, yes, only the fanciest coffee.
I am such a coffee snob. It's fine. It's fine, you guys. I'm a coffee snob who does reviews of Nescafe coffee K-Pods when they come in the mail for me to review.
Sure.
Absolutely. There's nothing. I have a K-cup. I have a Keurig, so if I want a fast cup of coffee, I can have one. Specifically if I want decaf. I like drinking decaf through the Keurig because I only ever want like a cup.
Okay.
And they make a good basic decaf coffee. I buy compostable K-cups. Do not at me. I am trying to be environmentally aware with that, so I buy compostable ones. So the ethical bean K-cup line is entirely compostable, and the good cup is entirely compostable as well. So I buy those, I make those, and then I give the K-cups away to my girlfriends who compost, because I do not yet currently do that. Maybe this spring. I'm getting a rain barrel this spring. I sound like an old farming lady. I am getting a rain barrel this spring.
You're going to take up composting.
I'm such a hippie. Okay. I've derailed us enough. What have you been wearing this week?
This week, I've been wearing a lot of my Find Your Fade and my Wonder Woman. They both fit quite nicely as cowls underneath my winter coat.
Oh, I completely lied. I wore my mallow this week too.
Oh, well, I'll have to add that.
I lied. It's been distressingly warm for the Christmas season. Like minus single digits in the Celsius for us, which is it's like on average 10 degrees warmer than we should be.
I thought I was going to get to take my niece and nephew tobogganing over Christmas break.
Not enough snow.
There's not enough snow. It keeps melting.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Too
weird.
warm.
This is
wrong.
I'm slightly distressed.
Wrong. This is what happens when you have warmer weather, ma'am. This is all your fault because you wished for it. No, it's not.
Sorry, I'll move away and take my wishes with me.
It's not Diana's fault. It's the effects of climate change and what's going on. It's something we've got to get used to because we refuse to do what's necessary to fix it. So, which includes getting a rain barrel. Ugh. I'm not excited. It's maintenance and care for rain barrels, so you don't have mosquito problems.
Mm-hmm.
But it is cheaper to water your garden.
Mm-hmm.
So Dad says I'm getting a rain barrel. Which makes sense since I'm like tripling the size of my garden this year.
Nice.
I gotta make enough cucumbers to make 9-day pickles, which is my grandmother's recipe, which I got a hold of after she passed. I got a hold of her recipe books for a couple of months, and I was able to go through and pick out the ones that I really wanted. But if I make 9-day pickles and I don't make 9-day pickles for my mom and my sister and my...
So for like everybody?
For like everybody. So I need a metric ton of cucumbers.
Right.
And I'm going to be doing this like all fall. That's fine. I'm going to get extra tomato plants too and just be a tomato cucumber fiend. That's what I'm going to do.
I'd say I'll help you with your
You're going.
excess tomatoes and cucumbers.
You're abandoning me.
Yeah.
I sound so distraught about it. I'm not. I'm so excited for you guys to do this adventure. It's just fun to poke.
Just abandoning everybody. Just abandoning my life. Up and moving.
No.
Start over.
That's
No.
fine. She makes it sound like she's moving the next province over.
It's still like a solid 14-hour drive, so it's not like close.
Why the hell would I drive?
It's not close, but it's not as far as it could be.
It's one airplane.
And then a train.
That's fine. It's one airplane.
Yes. Unless you want to go get straight into Waterloo Airport via Calgary.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it makes sense for you traveling home from Knit City in the fall to stop in Calgary and then switch planes to get right into Waterloo. But it makes no sense for me to do that. Whereas I would fly into Toronto, stay with friends in Toronto for a couple of days, and then catch the train.
Chris had to do the Calgary-Waterloo thing for his interview for the job.
We live in Winnipeg. He had to fly west to fly east.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
what?
They're not... He told some of his future coworkers, I guess, about this, and they're like, oh, is that so-and-so in HR? And he's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's... Mm-hmm. So-and-so in HR was optimizing for the wrong thing.
Got it. That happens. That's just crazy. Oh my gosh.
I found funny.
That's hilarious. Anyway, yeah, it's like one airplane for me to come visit you. That's nothing.
Yeah. Did we finish talking about cool threads?
No, I got derailed. We started talking about you abandoning me and me and cucumbers. Because it's been so warm. It's just been the Find My Fade. I haven't even been doing my coat up most days. Diana's mittens. And then one day it was so warm. It was the last Sunday before Christmas. That was your escape room day.
Yeah.
Where you guys went to the double escape rooms?
Yeah.
My dad ended up having to take us to the mall last minute. So we ended up going into the mall. And I didn't bother to wear a coat at all. I just wore my mallow.
Well, Christmas Day. So I bought myself a leather jacket back in the spring, thinking like I'll wear it in like the evenings in the summer, and then I can wear it like all fall, all like 2 weeks of fall, and then I'll have to put it away for the winter.
Our eclipse trip, wasn't it?
No, that was way back in the early spring that I bought this.
Okay.
I was at a conference that happened to be near a store that sold leather jackets. So, blah, blah, blah. So I like dropped some money on a proper leather jacket.
Okay.
Super not vegan. Love the heck out of that jacket. It's the best jacket ever.
So nothing wrong with a good leather jacket.
Anyway, but the point of the story was, it's like -5 is like pushing it for this jacket. So I figured I'd have to put it away by like the end of October for the season. I have not put it away yet. I wore that thing on Christmas Day. Put a sweater under it, wore it on Christmas Day.
It's too warm.
It's weird.
Too warm.
It's so weird.
I'm not enjoying this weather.
I'm just so weirded out by this weather. I'm not like...
My feet are constantly wet because it's always melting. It's gross.
I'm not upset that it's not -30. But like +1 is too warm for this time of year. It's weird.
I'm upset it's not -30.
Yes, but you're weird.
Cherry surprises.
So much sugar.
And I'm gonna keep eating it.
Go for it. What do we got? Woolly Workings.
Anyway, just talk about the stuff we've been working on.
Yeah, I have a whole 2 things, and they are just misbehaving immensely for me this week.
Hey, let's talk about the thing I can't show off.
Okay.
I made a crochet shawl for my mom for her hairdresser. And the pattern name is Coraline in the Wine Country. I don't remember who it's by, but I'll make sure Dinah has that information so we can link it in the show notes for you guys. Nice, simple crochet shawl. I held 2 yarns together to make it kind of a chunky, worsted, bulky kind of weight idea. Well, more like Aran, because it was worsted and a fingering I held together, so like an Aran weight shawl. But I held a shawl and a ball for my stash and some like buttercream yellow Burnett Premium I had in my stash. And I whipped up the quick shawl for her to send. There is a photo of it on Instagram. The mom helped. She posed. So you can see the back of my mom's head on our Instagram account. And she's holding up the shawl for me to take a photo of before she put it away to pack it to take it with her. So I did a whole shawl in like 4 days. It's done like a 6.5 millimeter hook. Like it whipped up real fast. I loved how the colors turned out. Like it marbled together beautifully. Because I had the shawl and the ball had like really deep reds, cranberry reds, and then it went into the yellows and then back into the cranberry reds. Okay. So it had this beautiful like fade effect with the marling, which was stunning. So I may make another one for myself. Like it was really pretty. And I have another shawl and a ball I'm not doing anything with. So I like shawl and the balls. They just sound fun. So I have an FO I can't even show you guys. Blocked, ends woven in, and it's already off to its recipient. So I took on a commission that I start in January. It's crazy. All right. I took on a blanket commission for one of my aunts. Ooh. I'm out of my mind. I have knit 3 more squares worth, or crocheted 3 more squares worth of the crochet quilt Afghan. This one by Sister Mary Margaret.
Yes. Which we will never forget.
Because it's amazing. Sister. It's amazing. So what I do is I fill up a Ziploc bag. And it holds exactly 3 squares plus borders. And then I sit down and I sew them. Because if I don't do that, I will never sew them in. So I grabbed one as a sample to show. So it takes, all told, it's 36 3-inch squares to make the thing. So it takes a bulk of them to make the initial block, which is this piece here. So I've got, it's a cute little crochet thing. So half of your tile, like your crochet squares, a little 3-inch square, which I've done in the Aran Tweed and Burnett Premium. So it's a nice creamy white with a heathered look in it. And then a good half of them are half one color, half the other color, which is an interesting thing to crochet. Not hard. Like it sounded a lot harder than it was. Remember when I was reading and I was like, I don't get it. Yeah, I can do it in my sleep now, guys. I make these things in bed in the morning before I'm up and have my coffee. Like they're not difficult. So I have to do 4 beige squares, then I need to do 8 half beige, half gray squares, and I need to do 4 half gray, half blue squares for the middle. And then I have to do an additional, what's 8 plus 8? I can't math.
16.
Thank you. 16 beige squares to go around each side, and 4 green squares to go in the corners to make the border. And I have to make 25 of these. Am I holding up the pretty side or am I holding up the not pretty side?
Both sides look pretty decent, so.
This side. Once it's all done, I am going to wash and block each block individually because I do not have the floor space to block an entire king-size blanket. And I am making a king-size blanket even though I have a queen-size bed because I hate blankets that don't drape over the sides of the bed. It drives me nuts because then you have naked bed showing. And that's just inappropriate. Beds should be covered. Thank you very much. So I'm going to do that. And once that's done and I've got the final measurements for it, I'm going to go down to my favorite warehouse of fabric. Marshall's? Mitchell's? Too many M names, guys. It's for us a local warehouse depot for fabric. We've gone.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's huge.
It
huge.
Is.
And I'm going to find myself a really good cotton backing in a nice white or cream or gray or something, like some sort of neutral color. Buy a metric ton of it to back the back of the quilt. And then I'm going to sew the quilt to the sheet. Because this is all acrylic, so it is all washable, but by doing the backing to it, I'll have a soft side in case I throw it off and on, and it'll give me a nice contrast for the matching pillows I'm going to make.
Okay.
So, because the pillow cases really do need to cover the whole pillow in my mind. So I knew I had to, for the extra tiles I'll be making for the pillowcases with borders and stuff, I was going to have to put a covering underneath it, and it didn't make any sense to have a covering underneath the pillows and not under the blanket, because I'm only doing the top half of the one pillows in the crochet and the back half will just be in the fabric.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just back the whole thing just for continuity's sake, because that's the sort of matching I have to do or my brain goes nuts. So I'm slowly working my way through that, though this may get derailed. This is my 100-day make-along project for the WTF Knitting podcast. So you're supposed to do a little bit every day. I totally derailed in November. I have definitely made up the time in the last week or so, and I will continue to make up the time as quickly as possible. But I did take on a commission, again, for my aunt, which is a slightly different pattern. A lot easier to do than this one because there's not as much thinking. Mm. But I do have to make them in 3-inch squares. And it's only for a double, thank heavens. But that's still, I've got what? Well, 18 balls of Burnett Premium that I have to do, and that's just in the colors. So that's not counting the neutral or the border to make.
That's a lot. Blankets are big.
Blankets are really big projects. So if you don't like me talking about blankets, I'm sorry. Between now and March, it's going to be a lot of blanket plus other. Because I really like making them. I'm really enjoying it. And because the squares are so small, I can piecemeal them. And because they are just the granny square, I can do it pretty much anywhere. I can make a square while I'm sitting down and having lunch. I can make a square while I'm at knit club. I can make a square if I'm sitting down and waiting for something to upload, or I'm doing a meeting and I've phoned in. I can just bust out a bunch of squares because they don't require enough thought to sort of slow down whatever else is going on around me. I've been making a lot of squares while watching Fire Force 8, which is an anime on Funimation, which I am so addicted to the opening theme track, I sent it to Mr. B.
Ooh.
And he doesn't follow links very often, so I rarely, I think that's maybe the 3rd link I've ever sent him in the 5 years I've known him. He doesn't do links. That tells you how much I like this theme song. I have downloaded it and started a playlist for anime soundtracks finally.
Ooh.
This is something I put off for years, going, yeah, I'll do that at some point, right? I started, which means now I need to track down all of the opening fairy tale ones I like, all of the, yep. But I mean, the song's name is Inferno, and in English, the Japanese rock band name is Mrs. Green Apple. It sounds so upbeat. The lyrics, not so upbeat. It is a rock song. But it sounds like bubblegum pop in my ear.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I will play it after we're done recording. It's on my phone. There's a playlist.
Okay. I will hear this.
All right. I have technically 2 more things to talk about, so you should go.
Okay, let me finish negotiating this make one increase right here.
No. No negotiating. No negotiating make one increases because somebody forgot to help me pick up stitches on my sock the other week. Internet, stern finger shake. Oops. Diana said she'd do that and we forgot.
Well, we both forgot.
She's not the only one who forgot. I also forgot. And then I looked at my sock later that night and I went, no!
We'll do that today. We'll not forget today.
Okay. I was like, that's my travel knitting. What am I going to work on in the truck while Dad drives everywhere? Nothing. I worked on nothing. It was weird. Pretty sure Dad looked at me. Not that I can see because it'd be outside. It'd be in the non-existent peripheral. Because I'm always working on something.
So I had a disagreeable yarn week.
I know, it's so sad.
I hardcore ran out of yarn.
I, in fact, will just toss my sock sack over there. That way you'll be like, why is this here? Oh, yeah. Ow.
I was working away on the sleeves of my Glam Lamb.
Like you do?
As one does. I'm just gonna put my arms this way so you can kind of see. There's, yeah, I don't have enough yet. This is
awkward.
Unintentional dab. I ran out of yarn.
I too can be a cat.
I ran out of yarn hardcore. So these sleeves are supposed to be like 42 rounds long or something, but that ends at this stitch marker here, which is about halfway between my wrist and my elbow, and that wasn't gonna fly because I want this sleeve down to like my knuckles.
Yeah, no, you need at least one more ball, possibly two? No, one.
So I was realizing I was running really short on yarn, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put this sleeve on waist yarn and then start on the other sleeve. And I got to my elbow on the other sleeve, and I'm just out of yarn. I tried to go to Michael's and get another ball of yarn. They were out of this one. They were not out of anything else. They had tons of everything else, but they were out of Loops and Threads Charisma in black. They had Loops and Threads the next size up in black, and the next size down in black, and many other things of the appropriate weight in black, but the texture of the yarn was different, so that wasn't gonna fly.
That's not gonna work, no.
No. So we're going to Michael's after this.
We are.
I'm gonna get some more black.
I like going to Michael's.
Because otherwise, I may well have been done these sleeves by now. I might have had a finished object. But I was out of yarn, and so was the yarn store. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm eating fudge.
Anyway, aside from that, this is super duper cozy. I love the contrast of the sleeve, the black sleeves, the gray body, and I love its drapiness, and I am generally very happy with this, and I'm just sad that I ran out of yarn.
So am I.
And it is too warm. Much too warm. Much too warm. Boy, that's gonna be heckin' cozy for January.
If we ever get winter.
Well, we usually do in January. That said, if we don't get down to minus 50, I'd be okay with that.
Minus 50 is cold.
Yeah, I'd be okay if we didn't do that this year.
Minus 50 is cold. I am professionally podcasting. I'm eating at the same time.
Highly professional. We're very professional podcasters. There's fiber in my coffee.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Every time. Every time.
Gosh.
Gotta get enough fiber in your diet.
That's not what they mean when they say fiber, but okay.
Pshaw.
Sure. What do I know? Okay.
What are you working on?
At this instant, I was going to show you how I do that little thingy to make half a square gray and half a square beige.
Oh, okay.
So, unintentional YouTube tutorial happening right now. So, I slip stitch, chain 4, make a magic loop. Can you tell I'm not actually recording a tutorial? Do my double crochet, like chain 2 up for my first double crochet. Do my first granny square, chain 2. Do my second granny cluster.
Yeah.
Chain 1, and then I take my second color and I just slip stitch it on. And then I do a chain 1. Tighten everything up because loosey-goosey. Righty, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. And then I just continue my crocheting, my granny square. And what happens is, because you go back and forth, you rotate your work. So you have a right side and a wrong side when you work.
Mm-hmm.
I will always be working in the beige or in the gray, depending on what color I'm working on. And when I'm switching, I just do the same thing. I just drop the beige and pick up the gray in the right corner, and drop the gray and pick up the beige when I come back around.
Neat.
Yeah. And it sounded so difficult when I read it. And when I did, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This makes perfect sense.
This is so easy. I was like, when I discover things, or you know a knitting technique, and somebody goes, "Oh, that's way too hard." Your brain goes, "Nope." Trust me, when that light bulb goes off, you're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good. It's fine, thank you." Like when I figured out brioche knitting, I was super worried it was gonna be complicated. It's not, just time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cool.
Turning the heel on a sock is never not magic, though.
Well, that's turning a heel on a sock, and that's fine. So now, because I rotate my work, I just go back to my gray in my beige, and I drop my beige and pick up my gray and continue the square. Because then I'd be flipping the work again. I work the last, yeah. Cool. It is magic, but it is understandable magic. So what I'll end up with here is this half gray, half beige square.
Nice.
I need 8 of these. I got 2 for number 4. Anyway, the other things I've been working on, I'm going to talk about my woes and mittens.
Okay.
This is a generalized complaint about mitten patterns. I have a lady's large hand, which in itself is not the complaint. Mitten patterns are made to a lady's large all the time. And if your hand's a bit bigger than mine, you can always move into the men's sizes. They make a lot of men's mittens too. They look really good. Or adjusting to a longer, like it's a lot easier to make a mitten larger than it is, say, a sweater.
Yes.
Or smaller than, say, a sweater, right? Noting that we're going to ignore my thumb because my thumb's a little bulbous and I don't like it. This pattern is like almost all the other mitten patterns in my life. And it is too damn short. And I'm swearing because I'm really frustrated with this. Unless I make fancy mittens, which go up your arm, which, by the way, do not go wide enough for my arm dimensions. So I can't because I do not have dainty arms. You need me to lift a 70-kilogram bag of, flour. I can do it and hold it in my arms and not use my back muscles. Like, just lift it. I can pick Diana up and it doesn't cause my arm stress. I am aware that I am stronger than some women you will meet, and that's fine. I don't mind. I'm not comfortable with my body shape, but we're learning to get there. I figure sometime in my 50s I'll stop caring, right? What I hate is that if I do this and I added an extra 4 rows before I started my thumb gusset, my wrist is here. My wrist is halfway through the ribbing. Halfway through 10 rounds of ribbing is my wrist bendy part.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fancy word for the bones in there. I've busted a couple of them. I don't remember what it is. So, what? This is all mitten patterns. All of them. Why can there not be a mitten pattern that has got a proper length cuff? Like, what is this going to do? Your coat comes to here.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made mine like 4 inches long. I find that with a lot of hats too. They just
what? Why have you
it's a fashion hat, not a proper Canadian, it's -40 hat.
So I have to rip this whole mitten back and either double the length of the ribbing to get it to be long enough. And that's after having added 4 rows before my thumb gusset increases. I mean, I gotta rip my thumb out anyway because my thumb it's weird. There's no other explanation for my thumb. It's a weird little bulbous flower thing going on here. I don't like it. So, I mean, I won't be using this pattern again because I'm really irritated by it. But this is a 5 millimeter. I DPN'd this. That included during the ribbing stage too. I DPN'd my ribbing. I can work in DPNs. It's not a problem. I can rib too. I know not my favorite. Hey, my ribbing is even straight except for that like first row thing, which I always struggle with. But I don't know, it adds a little decorative detail, so I don't worry about it too much.
It
but I'm going to have to rip this mitten back and do it all over again. Because it's 2 yarns held together, so picking up the stitches will be a pain in the keister.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a day's worth of knitting for me. I lost a day's worth of knitting to make a mitten that doesn't fit because it's just too short. But I want to make those Bella mittens, which are these beautiful elbow length mittens with this gorgeous horseshoe cable down them.
Mm.
Yeah, their widest forearm is half of my forearm requirements.
Ooh.
My arms are not that big. My arms are not that big. They're big. They're not that big. They're not that big.
Are they made for like children or something?
They're made for women with dainty arms, which I do not have. Because they've got lay flat, the circumference is under half of what my circumference of my upper forearm is. No, I'm not releasing that information because I'm embarrassed with how big my body is. It's irritating. I don't mind saying how big my chest is because it's just ridiculous. Like, we've reached ridiculous stage at that point. Nobody ever believes me till they measure me. Even people who do dressmaking don't believe they are as big as I say they are till they measure me. Yay for looking balanced?
I guess.
But I'm just so grumpy. Just a day's worth of knitting to make a mitten that doesn't fit properly. It's not even close.
But now you've learned so many things about how to make a mitten that fits.
I am so irritated. I'm just going to make a mitten pattern so it's bloody well long enough and big enough. This is dumb. This is dumb because men's cuffs aren't any longer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most mitten patterns are, they're like fashion mittens, not -40 mittens.
Well, these are not -40 mittens either. Let's be honest. These are like -10, -15 mittens at best. At best. And I'm going to double line them. But this is dumb. This is just dumb. Like, all base mitten patterns should not just be this short. It also means it's a good thing I learned like this before I like did the colorwork mittens because I want to do the Selbu Mitten Club.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to have to figure out a proper mitten pattern that I can just plug all other mitten patterns into so that my mittens fit. Should not have to do this extra work. Frustrating.
So, to continue the frustration with mittens.
Talk about your anger and mitten. I've angrily tossed my mitten. I'm done with it.
The mittens that I've been trying to make for my brother since the summer,
No,
they're still cursed.
Of course they are.
I have not bothered to put a progress keeper in these because I ripped them out.
Again?
Yeah, I was happily working away on the thumb gusset, and then I'm like, this doesn't look right. I misread the pattern on 2 counts.
Oh no.
I started the thumb gusset immediately after the cuff.
Ooh, you need a couple rows in there.
Yeah. And I also did not do a round of plain knitting between each round of increases. So the gusset was way too short.
Yep. I've done that.
So I had to rip that back. Again, this is like the 3rd time I've ripped these mittens back. This one mitten. I haven't made the 2nd mitten yet. So at this point, the only thing I have not ripped back on this mitten is the cuff, which I did in fact make like 4 inches long for exactly the reasons you stated.
That's just dumb. You shouldn't have to do that. Your mitten cuffs should be long enough to be proper mittens, whether you live in -10 as your deepest cold, or -40 as your deepest cold, or +10 and that's your cold. Like, they should function with your coats. I'm just so grumpy.
So, just make all cuffs 4 inches long. Hats, mittens, whatever. Cuffs are just 4 inches long.
Make your cuffs the proper length, people.
Anyway, so I think I'm finally doing it correctly. The number of times I've had to rip this out and pick things up, and I've dropped stitches and had to pick those up. And
did you rage quit these again?
No, because it was the only thing I had to work on that was simple. I needed simple Christmas travel knitting. But finally, so this is the right-hand mitten, and they're finally working out. It's finally looking like a proper mitten. It's, Of course, then I'm going to make these and find out they fit my hand just fine, but then they won't work for my brother's hand.
Your brother's hand's not that much. Your brother's like the same size you are.
Yeah, he's like, because my mom has the same size hands as you, pretty much.
Yeah.
And my brother's sort of between me and my mom,
So if it's just a little loose on you, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he also wants them to fit tightly so they can go under, like, deep freeze mittens.
Yeah, well, everybody needs those if you live in this country anyway.
I'm so thankful he wants mittens and not gloves.
Oh my god, I will never knit gloves for myself, never mind other people.
Yeah. So, they're looking good, and I'm not patterning them, I'm just paying attention this time. They're just roundy, basic knitting and self-striping sock yarn that I've lost the ball band for because I've just been so irritated with these dang mittens.
We've also been working on them since June. I'm pretty sure you thought you'd be done by now.
It wasn't June, I think
July?
It was definitely August.
When was the last time we went to Delicious for dinner with the Knit Club? Because that was really the first time you
I was working on these at DEF CON.
Which is August?
August.
Must have been August.
So I'm pretty sure I started these in August. And they're still not done, and they're just stockinette mittens. There is nothing complicated about these. So I'm finally I'm following a pattern for these now.
Oh, good!
I have learned the lesson that I do not know as much about knitting mittens as I thought I did, and so now I'm following a pattern.
I think that's just famous last words for all knitters. I'm following the pattern, and guess what, guys? It's working fine.
I know, right?
Oops.
So I'm mostly following the mittens to fit pattern, which is the first free fingering weight mitten pattern that I could find for adults.
That's fair.
So I'm mostly following it. I made the cuff again way longer than it called for.
The pattern I will not name. That is the 8th free knitted mitten pattern I have tried. They have all worked out that way. I'm just mad enough now. I'm raging about it.
I think the mittens that fit also have some decreases for the fingers, because the idea is that they, like, instead of just being like a regular mitten pattern, there's like a decrease after the thumb, so it fits tighter to your fingers, and I'm probably not going to bother with that part.
That's fair.
So that was the main design feature of the mittens that fit, or mittens to fit, I think.
Well, yeah, because if you leave it out and it's moderately fitted on your hand, it should fit your brother's hand just fine without being too snug or too loose. I think that's a good call for your brother.
And I'll make them probably like at least half a knuckle longer than my hands. Because he's a pianist. He has pianist hands.
He's got beautiful fingers.
He really does.
Graceful on the piano. And
I'm really jealous.
Both of us love him and say F you at the same time.
I got the stubby fingers.
Oh, so do I. Things I learned when I was 13. I have man hands, according to my piano teacher, and I was never going to be an excellent piano player because my hands aren't dainty or long enough. And I became non-water hydrodynamic. So my competitive swimming career ended when I hit puberty. That was frustrating.
Yay, female bodies.
Not impressed. Where was that athletic figure I was promised with all my work I'd put into it? Nope, I just turned into an anime figure.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to swim when you've got, like, floaters on your chest.
No, it's hard to sink when you come equipped with your own natural flotation devices that work in salt water. Sinking is a problem. When you're trying to pass your lifeguard qualifications, which I did, do you know how hard it is to sink to the bottom of the pool? I have to work at it. I don't just sink. There is effort involved. I float naturally.
I feel you.
And in the ocean, guess what, guys? Still float. Which you're not supposed to do.
So, pre-surgery, if I just rested my knees on the bottom of a hot tub, pre-breast reduction surgery, so like anime figure, like massively anime
Diana.
figure.
I joke, Diana was.
So, if I just lightly rested my knees on the bottom of the hot tub,
you floated.
I just floated.
Yeah.
Like, just neutrally buoyant.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is
annoying.
Weird.
Because you can't sink or submerge yourself easily.
Like, I can't, like, sit on the seat in the hot tub because I just float too much.
There's no resting. You're constantly going, okay, sure.
And then you're, like, trying to swim on your front, and they're, like, floating up and crushing your neck, face. And you're like, I can't breathe.
Hello, my back's going the wrong way. Having said that, my backstroke is excellent because a lot of the work to hold myself upright is being done without any work by myself, which makes my strokes really nice and powerful. My front crawl, not so much. I swim in the mornings, guys.
15. Haha.
And nobody is amazed that I can swim without my cane, or that what they're amazed is that I know how to use the hairdryer. What?
What?
Not the swimming. I always get compliments on getting, like, in and out or tying my shoe. I'm like, huh? This is not the hard part.
I can't swim in a straight line.
They have lane thingies.
Yeah, I still can't swim in a straight line.
They keep a lot of those people in a straight line. I'm not sure. I can't draw in a straight line. I don't walk in a straight line, but I can swim in a straight line fairly well. So, and if not, there's the lane thingies that kind of keep me in between. I don't vary too much, so.
Alright, so mitten woes.
Ugh.
That was a thing.
Mittens. That's what I say about that. Oh, mittens. Alright, my last knitted thing. I actually did knitting, you guys, other than a mitten I'm angry about. I didn't put a progress keeper in because I finished a whole shawl. Okay, guys? Like, and there was Christmas, which actually involved, stuff. Like, in our case, my family does Christmas Eve dinner, so that was 14 of us. We were just short one of my cousin's significant others, because he didn't get the holidays off. He's our CMP officer out on the East Coast, so he works the holiday season. That's the nature of his work. But we did get to meet another cousin's girlfriend for the first time this year, so
that's cool.
We might be serious. He's bringing her around the family now.
Ooh.
It was the first Christmas without Grandma, so we weren't sure how well that went, but it went really well. We were able to chat and share stories and stuff, so that was really nice. So I did some more work on the Cowl of Doom. We now go from resting on the girls up to my chin. I'm not going to finish till I'm like about my head height, because I want that super deep.
It's going to be a heck of a cowl.
It's going to be this is a serious cowl. This is not a pretend cowl. This is not a, oh, I made a cowl. This is a serious hardcore cowl. There is no pattern. If you guys want whatever I have for pattern notes, let me know. I will literally just do a blog post about it and take some photos. Like this. There's nothing to this.
You could throw some notes up on your pattern page on Ravelry that you still haven't made.
Yeah. You know those things that I never do?
Yeah.
I have a 2.5 page long to-do list for the end of the year. And I took this week off work so that I could use because, oh, poor Patreon knitters. They get no end of rants about me and my vision. I know, I hear laughter, so I'm assuming that that I'm engaging while I rant about the irritations that are in my life. I get 6 hours a day, that's it. Of any computer time whatsoever. That includes phone time. I got 6, that's all I've got to use. I've got things that help. I got my screen reader. He's a lovely man. Talks to me all the time. But and it's a hard limitation. So I took this week off work so that I could get through a bunch of stuff I've not been able to get to, which if you're a Patreon member, you will notice that means a lot of video uploads. 2 more coming your way. I finally figured out how to make it work. Putting all of them up. If you're just following us on YouTube, you will get most of them later. The homemade house ones are strictly Patreon only, but the holiday tag went public on YouTube, so we have a bonus video. There's a 20 random question tag that Patreon got this weekend. You guys will get in a day or two. Actually, you get before this comes up. And then the Knitting Bingo Challenge wrap up in 2020 goes live on the 1st. Because I scheduled that person. It goes up on its own. I don't have to do anything with it. I love the scheduler.
It's nice.
Oh, it's pretty. So I will, on near the top of that list is, it literally just says, get Ravelry organized, idiot. Now I'm being kind to myself. I've been putting this off too long, you guys. So hopefully I've got show notes and I've got notes on this posted by the time this goes up. It's on the to-do list before the end of the year, so in theory it gets done. In theory. So it is just a mile of 2x2 ribbing, which I'm not a fan of. However, in the case of a stretchy cowl, you pull over your head is really sort of the way to go. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still working on my first ball. It slowly shrinks. These balls are massive when they start. It is a skein of Anna's Choice in blue, held double with a strand of Big Scoops, loops and threads, ice cream colorway, and the one I have that I held double with it is the green, yellow, and blue one. So it's marled together beautifully. I don't know when I fell in love with marling, but I did. And
it looks really good.
It looks so good. So super happy with how this is turning out. And I will continue working on it because I think it'll look really good. Whether or not it has matching mittens depends on how mad I stay at the mittens. I might just stay mad at the mittens and just not ever do them. But I might suck it up and just make my own pattern for it so it works for me. So that's it. That is all the stuff I've been working on. It's been a holiday week. I've had a lot to do.
That brings us to Yarn on the Go.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it was Christmas.
I don't go anywhere or do any. No. This year was our turn to host. We tried to take turns with my uncle and his family who live here in the city. We try to take turns since everybody comes to the city. My grandpa. I have a cousin. I have a cousin and a cousin who's it's a mom and a son, and the mom shares the same name as my mom, and the son shares the same name as my dad.
Oh gosh.
But
that's not
my
confusing.
grandpa is his cousin. So if you hear us talk in conversation, he says, well, cousin Harvey, and I go, Grandpa Harvey. We mean the same person? That's just, we're not a huge family. So I think we were doing it, and all the cousins on grandpa's side, like my dad's side of the family, like all the ones we sort of know of that aren't like his siblings' grandchildren, were in the room that night. That's me, my sister, Ian, who is my oldest cousin that I sort of spend time with, and he's only in his late 20s. Then my uncle's two girls. That's it. That's all.
That's all right. So my family also does Christmas Eve, and so it was me and my brother and my parents
and your significant others,
and our significant others, and 2 uncles.
Cool.
That's it.
At least we've got 1 teenager in the group. Actually, we got 2 teenagers in the group because my youngest cousin's a year older than my niece.
Yeah, my brother's the youngest, and he's 23.
Yeah, it's like the same age as my cousin.
Yeah.
No, technically one of my cousins 25. So. But she lives out in the East Coast with her partner, so.
Oh, we used to have like 20 people and like 5 kids, but then of course the kids grew up and have their own Christmases to go to, and people die and move away and get divorced and whatever.
I'd hate to tell you, as human beings, we're all going to do that death part.
Yeah. So, things remix over the years, and so we're currently down to 8.
I don't know, you and Mr. Diana might have children, or your brother and his partner might adopt a kid, and
I think it's more likely that my brother and his partner will have kids before
you guys are settling into the whole we're okay being an aunt and uncle and that's it phase.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with doing the aunt thing.
Well, I mean, you're not even in your 30s yet, so
yeah,
you've still got plenty of time if you decide you want to. Notice I said if you decide you want to.
Yes.
I will never be offended if you decide to have or not have children. I don't care either way. It's your body.
I appreciate that. I'm highly unlikely to do it while I'm away from my entire support network.
Well, yeah, give it a year or 2 and you'll have a new one.
So.
If you've done it right. I will judge you if you don't make friends.
I'll have to read that dinosaur making friends book that you got me last
year.
Yes,
I bought you a book about it. I will be disappointed if you don't make friends.
I have a children's book about how to make friends. You don't eat them.
No, even though people are tasty. The most inspired Christmas present I have ever given you in my life was that dinosaur book.
I enjoyed it.
So
it goes on the shelf with my other children's books that I bought for myself.
Yeah. I have a children's book on my shelf. I actually, my grandmother gave it to me when they moved from 2nd Street North into the Seniors for Seniors co-op. It's Sesame Street, because I grew up reading it. It says this book belongs to Jocelyn in like my grade 2 writing. Like, oh man. Oh boy, that's some writing going on there.
My children's book collection I have bought exclusively or had given to me as an adult.
Nope. My only children's book is the one I had since I was a child.
I have children's books just they're great.
Why not? Listen, when we get to literature, I'm technically reading a textbook and I'm quite happy doing so. So we can't take me personally seriously at all. I have a knot in my yarn. What are we on to now?
I was also going to mention other places that I took knitting.
Oh yeah, you took knitting. I don't have a significant other, so I don't have any other places to go. It's just here.
Honestly, that's totally okay, because 3-4 days of people, it was too much people.
Oh, I would have loved it, but I'm a people person, so.
Yeah, I'm an introvert.
My dad took me out shopping on Boxing Day so that I would get people in. Also, so we could buy cat treat, because my cat won't care if she got a Christmas present early or late, and by getting it on Boxing Day, we saved the wallet some money. Her grandparents bought her, my parents bought her a Christmas tree, cat tree. She has an adult-sized cat tree, which is good because she uses it, and that's the important part. Awesome. And I can vacuum the crap out of it.
Other place I took knitting, I went to the spa yesterday.
You took your knitting to the spa?
I did, because it was like...
Did you knit? Or do you just want to talk about going to the spa? Uh-huh.
There are places one could knit.
Uh-huh.
That I definitely thought about, and then I kind of fell asleep.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. You just want to talk about going to the spa. Sure, rub it in.
It was a wedding present from like 3 different people, one spa day.
You needed that much money to go to Thermia.
Oh gosh, that was so expensive. We had $400 of gift certificates and we still spent $100.
It's expensive to go to Thermia.
So nice. So nice.
I'm glad you guys were able to go and relax and enjoy. And now your husband's tweet about having to frantically pack this week makes way more sense.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to work this week, so he's got all the week.
He'll be packing.
He's doing that right now.
He's
plucking foam for his miniatures right now.
Oh, good.
Or at least he was when I left.
Well, it takes a long time to protect them, to travel with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Also having a miniature collection.
There will be much packing this week. And sorting of things and...
If he's got it sorted so you know what, you can leave when you and I start packing in January.
Yeah. For
your big move. And I don't procrastinate nothing, so we will be starting in January. Because we can, and it just makes life easier if we just do it random days here or there, and then it's not anywhere near as stressful. No, I can pack, move houses, and unpack in 72 hours. I just take 3 days off, and it's done. And that is from nothing packed to everything fully unpacked in the new location, including cleaning. That is how much I have moved. That is how good I am at it. Because that is how freaking many times I've had to do this. So when I told him, I was like, we have to like the end of March. Mom was like, that's nothing. Like, I know. That's such a beautiful timeline.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be slow and
beautiful.
Yeah.
Because we've got the whole spare bedroom, the office. Because he'll moved his computer stuff out, so we can literally just start stacking boxes in the office and leave you computer space. Obviously.
I'll have to get him to go through the rest of those boxes.
He needs to do that before he leaves. That's just good manners on his part.
Because, yeah, we need a place to...
We need a place to put your boxes so you're not just living amongst boxes for the next few months. That's not okay. Yeah.
So there will be extra organization required because I still need stuff to live. Mm-hmm. He also needs stuff to live. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
Yep.
I figure we can pack my stuff quite easily. He'll come back in, or no, I guess I'm going there with some stuff.
You're going there with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the more he's got organized, like if he knows what he wants and he's got it set aside, like
I think I'll be bringing the miniatures with me when I go in February,
which is fine. But I mean, there's things that we can pack. Like we can pack the board games. We can pack the other stuff. Like we can pack a lot of the stuff for him. We can pack his books.
Yes.
Like we can do a lot of that for him. We just need to. You need to get him. Here's a common complaint you'll hear out of most wives. You need to get him to sit down and decide what he's keeping and what he's getting rid of. Mm-hmm. If we know what he's getting rid of and you've gotten rid of it, we can pack the rest. That's fine. Yeah. That's super. Heck, we can pack the stuff he wants to have come out first for him first. And that can just go out the door with you when you go in February.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, super easy.
I suspect there will be some video calls going through the bookshelves. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, this set. Do you need this set?
Yep.
How about this one? This other one. How about this set that's under this table?
Yeah. Great.
Oh, I moved a couch and I found some more books.
That's just what happens when
honestly,
you live with a book lover.
It'll probably be yarn actually when we move a couch.
Yeah. Hey, your yarn is but that's not a him thing. That's a you thing.
That's a me thing. Sorry, I'm not being totally fair with my comments.
No. Well, okay, your yarn collection is nowhere near the book collection. Your book collection is nowhere near the book collection.
Yeah, no. I have most of a bookshelf. He's got 3.
That'd be like comparing your book collection to my book collection. That's just... No. Or my board game collection to Mr. B's board game collection.
He's got a literal mountain.
He's got a mountain range. It's not even a mountain anymore.
Oh, a range.
He's got a range because it lives on the walls up to the ceiling and it started to come down off the walls and sort of moved into the middle of his room.
Oh, so he's got foothills.
Yes. Ooh. He has a mountain range. It's not a mountain, it's a mountain range. And then the person's like, what do you want to play? I'm like, I don't know. There are too many choices. I don't care. Find something on the top that you know where to find it because I'll ask for the one that's at the bottom of the box 3 stacks in. I always manage to do that. So I don't know. Pick a game, sir.
This one, it's on top.
This one, it's on top is kind of how it goes.
Okay, hang on. I gotta count stitches for a second because I think I'm done with this thumb gusset.
Cool. Do we know what section we're talking about now?
Oh. We are on to wool gathering.
Cool. I'll talk wool gathering while you count stitches. So, we have reached the end of the year, which means with 2020 and Diana moving to Waterloo at the end of March, April, May, I don't know. She's leaving at some point and it keeps changing.
Yeah, it does keep changing. I've said the end of March
nebulous.
Several times this
well,
time.
yeah, but you've said the end of April several times. You said the end of May several times. When
most
she's
recently
no
I've been saying
longer
March.
here, she's moved.
Yeah, okay, it's a fair assessment.
Let's go with that. That's nice and nebulous and very vague. We're going to make some changes. So as of the January the 1st of 2020, the big ones are going to be prizes. I am done arguing with Canada Post. I love all of you, not that much. So we are going to go and move towards gifting and digital patterns, or ordering yarn for people online to have directly shipped to their homes. So most of it's going to be digital patterns that are going to be gifted. So here's your heads up. If you join us in our Ravelry knit-alongs, aka the podcast anniversary that starts in days. In fact, we'll have started by the time you've watched this. Guys.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Update your wish lists, because if I do mostly digital patterns, I can give away twice as many things as I can for single skeins of yarn. That's how money works.
That is how money works.
That is how money works, because math. So update your wish lists, because if I randomly pull from the feeds, like the chatter thread, you're not going to have any warning, because it will be random. You will just get a present from me. So if you are not in the chatter threads, which by the way, I have written my schedule for 2020 by week for the next 52 weeks, because I am that kind of ridiculously dumb organized human being. And on that checklist, every freaking Monday is upload the video, check Ravelry threads. You're on the schedule. I'm not messing around with this anymore. I have to schedule this until it is a habit, and it will be scheduled until it is a habit. So I have it scheduled twice a week, because I'm fancy and can't say schedule, to check the Ravelry threads. So I will be maintaining and checking the threads this coming year, and I will be commenting and replying. But if I like a post, or if I've decided it's been too long since I've given away a thing, I will internet stalk you on Ravelry, go to your wish list, and buy you a pattern. So update your wish lists, people, because if you don't have one, I can't gift something to you, and I will move on to somebody else. And I random number generate everything. Ask Diana.
Yes.
I literally sit and ask my phone to give me a random number between something and something, and I pick. So that's how I make decisions. Probably not wise, but always entertaining. That'll be done. We are going to scale back the grand prizes, like the big ones. We might give away 1 or 2 skeins of yarn this coming year, because again, we can just do more for giftings. I might move to gifting an entire ebook as a grand prize on a Ravelry download, because it is actually still about $8 to $10 cheaper than it is for me to buy the yarn and back. That's before shipping. Because
so expensive.
Math and shipping in Canada blows. So we're going to do that, because it also means I don't have the same kerfuffle I did this year. I'm still waiting on some address checks. Nope. No, I just don't have the time this upcoming year. I have to take over a bunch more for Diana while she adjusts and moves, so I just don't have the time. So we're going to limit it and change the format for everybody. So update your wish lists. Don't forget to participate on the Ravelry feeds. And please, if I have said your name or your handle and said contact me, I'm not lying. If you don't, I will not come find you. You are all adults. Some of you might not be, but that's fine. I'm going to treat you like one anyway. I mean it. I am not the fastest at replying to emails and Ravelry messages. I am getting better. I'm going to continue to work on that. There are some that are going to be like ancient that I reply to, because I would have gotten distracted. If you guys knew my work habits, you would understand I'm also the worst to get a hold of via email, period. I will look, I will see, but I only check my email once a day, which means it is a 24-hour turnaround period. And I'm hardcore about that. My evenings are mine, because I work for myself. If I don't do that, I just work all day. So we're going that way with prizing. Hard line. If you are a Patreon member, I finally figured out how to get videos uploaded. I am not technologically orientated. So the learning curve is immense, you guys. You will get more. You're going to get a monthly, mid-month upload video that's going to be strictly for you guys on the Handmade Household. If there's anything else you would like us to sort of do prize-wise in that, I finished updating the tiers, finally, so I can go public with them, and I will do the January 1st post. We'll be talking about the changes to the tiers, the bingo card challenge, for the year, and the things are going on. Prizes for Patreon members only will be treated separately, and those will be physical prizes, because I will put the effort in on that case, because there's not as many. So it's not as difficult, and it's not a constant problem that I have to deal with. It's only going to be occasional pain in the butt. You have to remember, I mailed one of my aunts a shawl 2 weeks ago. She got it, what is it, tomorrow. She should get it tomorrow, because Christmas. I mailed Christmas cards that still haven't arrived where they're going. It's not just you guys. It's me. It's fine. I am aware that it's me. We're going to try to bypass me as much as possible. I will work around the gremlins as much as I can. We're also going to have some formatting changes. Diana's moving. The podcast is not dying. We're still going to go, but it means I have to learn an entire new video editing software over the next 3 months, which is a tight timeline for me to learn an entire new video editing software program, because we'll be recording via distance. So there will be the split screen will be in 2 different places. Should help us audio-wise, because man, are we bad at describing things for our audio listeners. So bad at describing things for our audio listeners. It's not good, guys. The other thing I want to try to do in 2020 is transcribe all of our videos. So we do have the closed caption at the bottom, and it's not excellent. It's actually quite bad. Because it's hard. They just do it off the voice, and sometimes they don't hear very clearly. They don't. I do transcription work. Like, I know where the problems can occur with an automated transcription process. So I'm going to try to go through and start working my way backwards to get the videos transcribed, so people who are hearing impaired can also then have access to the podcast as well too. So be patient with me. It takes a long time, and it does use a lot of visual acuity, and I'm not going to lie, probably sometime around July, I'm probably going to cry at Diana. Help! Help! I need someone with better eyeballs to help me do some of this. My English is horrible. Please don't leave me.
I have a tool that may help.
Oh God, that'd be amazing.
It should be able to do like 80%, and then you just have to spell check it.
That makes life much easier for me. The other thing that we're going to do, you have to remember that I do design, and I've got something like, over the next year, close to 14 patterns I need to get finished and out. It's a lot. I've been doing a lot of background work. So there will be an odd assortment of things that I can and can't talk about, which means I might actually only have as many projects as Diana some weeks.
Good grief.
Because I'll have been working on stuff
even allowed?
I'll be working on stuff I can't talk about quite yet. So, yay! Hey, we got most of the things ironed out. I only had like half a dozen people message me in the incorrect format for this last round of testing. And some fingering weight testers who are still waiting, because I haven't literally had enough personal time to just sit down and finish and get stuff emailed off. I've been busy with family. It's intense.
It's a family week.
I forget how intense it is when my parents are visiting. It's intense. I take naps in the middle of the day. It's intense. So, that's all covered. If you don't know what Patreon is, it is a way to monetarily support people that you enjoy, whose content creation that you enjoy. For our Patreon supporters, they get an extra video every month now. They get an electronic Mitten once a month. Once we're up over $50 a week, we're gonna do we're gonna try something. It's gonna be experimental. It's gonna be a cooking thing. So we're gonna try experimentally cooking something different. Because Diana and I will be in different locations, we'll be rotating that every other month. So one month Diana will have to try something spanking brand new, and the other month I will have to try something spanking brand new, just to see how we do cook-wise.
Good.
Yeah, so experimental Tuesdays will return once we get up to 50. And I think it was when we were at $100 a month, I said I'd run a book club every quarter, because Diana said she could commit to one book every 3 months.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Which I said that was cool, which would mean an additional live video chat about the book, plus a thread to talk about things as we go along. So there are things coming, and once we get up to those levels, then we'll start doing this as well too. So a lot of them are not segregated by tier. The videos, the e-knit-in is, mostly because we get too many people. It'll be hard to do. We'd have to move to like a YouTube live format or something. Mm-hmm. But for now, we're still small enough we can do like a Google Hangout. Preloaded videos are not listed. Like, if you donate $1, you get access to all the videos and all the posts and stuff. If you donate $15, you get more than just access to all the stuff we put at the basic level. That's just how it works. If there's anything you guys think it would be fun that you would like to internet stalk us about, that you think would be a good perk for a Patreon member, let us know. I can't name anything appropriately at all. But let's be honest, F This Knit has a D&D group.
Oh my goodness.
A D&D group. All right, so that just leaves the podcast anniversary to talk about. And I've been babbling for ages. Your turn.
So this year, to celebrate
3 years.
Gosh, that number surprises me. I say it every week and it surprises me every time.
It's okay. It surprised Bruce on the CBC Weekend Show. He's like, 144 episodes. And my brain went, yeah, almost 3 years. I didn't know. I was like, yep, no, 144, 145 this week.
It's crazy. So to celebrate 3 years English, coming up in March 2020.
See, this is the part where transcription programs have problems.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to our future transcribing selves.
Thank you. I appreciate the apology in advance. My hair's too short.
Okay, facts. March 2020 is 3 years of podcasting.
True story.
Second fact, we're going to celebrate that. Third fact, we're going to celebrate it by knitting sweaters from Tin Can Knits.
We are. We're going to start the 1st of January or earlier. If you've started earlier, totally okay. So long as you're less than 50% and so long as you're making an adult sweater. Those are the rules. I'm sure we could make easier rules. I'm just not sure how. Everyone's eligible and available. There will be a Ravelry thread by the time we talk about this because Ravelry's on the schedule now. So it will actually be done.
One of us will actually remember to check that.
And remember, because the new prize rules kick in on the 1st of January, I can start gifting stuff as of like the 1st of January randomly on wish lists.
I should update my wish list now. We're not eligible for our own prizes.
We're not eligible for our own prizes, no. Though we might end up buying ourselves ebooks. I might buy us a copy of Strange Brew, digitally each, as congratulations for making 3 years.
That'd be alright.
As a gift to ourselves for making 3 years of podcasting. 3 years fairly consistently, like between surgeries and traveling and all of the stuff that kind of goes on. I think we've only missed like a week or two.
I think we've posted something every week. It just, usually I'm the one that's missing it.
That's not my fault. We started recording shortly after I had abdominal surgery. I am committed.
Yeah. So I think you've been up every single week. I'm the one that's slacking.
Yeah. I think I've had special guests when you've been out of town and stuff. So on the bright side, because we're going to doing it via distance, it doesn't matter where your keister is, you will be recording.
This is true.
Insert evil chuckle here. You want to go to Montreal in March? Neither one of us speak French. Gives us 3 months.
I've got
Knit City is doing their first ever Montreal Knit City.
Oh.
In like March or May or something. And I'm like, Montreal's a lot easier to get to. For both of us. It's actually just a shorter flight. But neither one of us speak French, but both of us want a second language.
Fine in Montreal, most people speak English.
Which is fine. I mean, I still would want to like brush up on my French because I haven't taken French since like grade 8.
I've got enough French to order drinks at the bar. It's really all you need, right?
Sure, you know how to order me a ginger ale. We're good to go. Heck, I might even splurge if we make it out to Montreal. I might have a martini. I do drink. It's just very rarely. It's like people take notice when it happens. So that might be something we might want to discuss rather than doing the big one in the fall in Vancouver. Or if we want to do, there are things we have to plan, and I'm a planner, Diana's not, so we'll see how this goes. Oh
no, I do like planning. I just don't typically plan that far in the future.
That's true. So that's something we should talk about while we're going to Michael's. Plans. So that's going on. Everybody join us for casting. I'll be casting on the 1st of January. I will be knitting a gauge swatch New Year's Eve. So I can cast on the 1st of January. I'm an exciting human being. And that's not the only cast on I'm going to have. I'll talk about more of that later. Okay. Wool gathering, because this is where we talk about stuff we received.
Yeah.
We got stuff for Christmas.
Give me 2 more stitches and I will show you the gorgeous things that I got for Christmas.
My grandpa bribed me for Christmas. He sent home some stuff that used to be my grandmom's because he's still cleaning out their space to make it his space. So I had given a blanket to my grandmother to use when she went into the hospital long term, which she turned out not to need because she was able to stay home till like 48 hours before she passed. So she wasn't even in the hospital for like 3 full days. It was like 2 days and she passed. So like thankfully she didn't need to use the blanket, but he sent the blanket home for me to have. And I actually have it on the couch beside us because I had to wash it. Because I wash everything. A lot. Ooh, that's staticky. Ooh, I use natural wool balls, and they aren't super in the wintertime. But I hate the waste of dryer sheets, so it's only really December, January, February.
It's so static, it's like sticking straight out here.
I know. Oh, it's bad.
Okay.
But I had made this blanket, which was the first completed
the top edge. Here we go.
Blanket throw that I had made that wasn't for my mom. It's just granny squares. There's white one, beige ones, and chocolate brown ones, I think. Yes, that's it, right, for colors? Chocolate brown ones, white, and beige. So they're all Bernat Premium, so it's literally Bernat Premium in chocolate, in Aran, and in white. And I crocheted them together with a green colored yarn. So I made it big enough to be a extra large couch throw, so they could both sit under on the couch. And then when Grandma went into the hospital, because my grandma was really sick for a long time. She had a terminal illness. We knew she'd be going in at some point. This is also big enough to fit over a hospital bed, so she could have a comfort of home, which you don't get a lot of them in palliative care.
Mm-hmm.
So I made her something that she could take that was acrylic, so it could have the snot washed out of it, should things need to be washed out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it came home at Christmas with a crisp $100 bill.
Nice.
Grandpa's a good man. I spent that $100 bill, Grandpa, no problem. Went over, like I do. Went out Boxing Day. Where did I go? I went to the Michaels, because my local yarn store wasn't open Christmas Day or Boxing Day. So, sorry. I really wanted to spend that money.
Totally understand.
Mm-hmm. So,
it's
this has come home. It is. It's gonna be a couch blanket for me now. So,
it's a nice blanket.
I have a blanket from my great-grandmother that my great-grandmother used, which lives on the other couch, which you guys Patreon viewers will see, because I film on the other couch so I can tell the difference. When I'm looking at the video clips real quickly, which I'm doing, when I'm doing the homemade house, I film on the other couch. So then I have a blanket my grandma used that I made to go on my couch to go with my other blankets that I'm making for myself. So, and because it's long enough to fit on a hospital bed, it's long enough I can sleep under. Same with my dad.
Nice.
Which is how you make blankets in my house for my 6-foot+ father and grandfather and family members. They're the short people. I have a cousin Glenn who's like 6'6", 6'7". Big dude. So are his sons. My head fits under their shoulders. They're tall boys. Tall boys. Okay, so
I got yarn.
We both got yarn. You got less than I did, so you should go first, because I bought my yarn on Boxing Day sale.
Okay, I got gifted some yarn. This is not all the yarn. I got a bunch of kits as well. I didn't bring those because
I got an Instapot for Christmas.
Too much. Okay.
Make those. I want to see them made.
Yeah, I know, right? So this is Red Heart amigurumi cakes. I don't know, they're more like discs. They're pretty thin. But apparently each one of these discs makes 2 creatures.
What? Make me a creature.
Each one makes 2, it says.
I want a creature.
So this
I don't
one,
know what creature it is.
It's like bright sky blue on the outside, then like safety orange, and then bubblegum pink and white in the middle. This one is llama and has pictures of adorable little llamas on it.
I want a llama.
I know, right? So I'm going to be making some llamas.
Make me a llama.
I have to go on the website to look at the pattern, so I haven't looked at the pattern yet.
That's okay.
And then this other one, which is white on the outside, and then like Barbie pink, sky blue, and super yellow.
Mm-hmm.
This is unicorn. Makes cute little unicorns.
Don't tell Isabella, she'll ask.
So
my niece got a unicorn onesie for Christmas. And that giant bird cage you saw upstairs.
Oh yes, I did see that.
They have a flying bird cage for budgies now. It consumes a lot of space. But they love it. Are able to fly around. The dogs love watching them too.
So these are like 100-gram balls of 100% acrylic.
Uh-huh.
It calls for a... What size hook is this?
I don't know.
2.25.
That's the same size as a knitting needle for thingy for me. If you don't have one, I've got one.
I actually have a lot of hooks, so I think I should be good. So,
let me know.
Got those. And then...
I want a llama.
My brother went to a yarn store in Toronto, because he lives in Toronto, and he brought me back some gorgeous yarn. There's this happy yellow with a blue-green speckle. Happy yellow with a blue-green speckle. It
looks like a canary bird.
Dahlia Dior. It is...
I'm so dang cheerful.
merino superwash and polyamide.
It's a nylon format.
Anyway,
That would be
yarn.
amazing spring socks.
Ooh, you're right.
With like a nice little lace pattern up the leg.
This is KFI Luxury Collection in Dahlia Dior.
Oh, so pretty. Your bed's really good at choosing colors.
Yeah. Then from Robo Sheep Yarns, which is fantastic. This colorway is called Gravity.
Okay.
It's superwash merino and nylon.
Mm-hmm.
Hand dyed in Toronto. But it's this gorgeous heathered purple indigo color, which I am super into, because purple, of course.
You are a purple fan.
And then from Feisty Fibers, we have this purple, bluey, greeny, slightly tiny bits of white. This colorway is called Sexy Nerd. It's merino nylon.
I've already made my fun about that.
Yeah. So I'm super pumped about all of this. And these colors even go together really well. Like the purples in Gravity and Sexy Nerd go together really well. And the like greens, even kind of the greens from the speckle and the yellow even kind of go with the greeny blue in Sexy Nerd. And so these might all need to become like a Stephen West shawl.
Ooh, he's got some pretty three skeiners.
Yeah, so these might be a Stephen West shawl.
Or the basis for you to pick up a couple for like a couple of his larger ones. I mean, not Mohino Madness, because you already have that kit.
Yes, I have that kit.
But he is releasing a winter collection. In fact, I think it's like until the 1st you can buy it at a discount.
Anyway, so my brother picked really great colors. I'm really happy.
Very good yarn choice picker. My family doesn't get me yarn for Christmas. They buy other things for me, like cat trees and Instapots.
I will say the Instapot's pretty great.
I'm so excited! The instruction booklet's down there. I can do a whole chicken in 15 minutes.
Good grief.
My brain just goes, that's really fast for a whole chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. I, of course, read all the safety instructions and said, do not touch the metal parts while cooking. Do not open before releasing the steam. It's a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I know why you have to have those, but still. This is sad. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So what yarn do you have?
Are you ready for it? Do you see this giant bag?
I do see this giant bag. It's sparkly, so I'm really into
excited?
this. Yes.
So I spent more than my grandpa had sent, but not by much. I was really excited about it. Crisp $100 bill, you guys.
Apparently.
I took it out of the plastic bag that it came home in because Crinkle Crinkle and Cat, but it is the giant Michael's bag. And we hit up Michael's Boxing Day sale because they had yarn on sale. So I bought an entire big Safeway reusable, soft-sided, no hard-sided, plastic-sided, reusable shopping thingy.
There's a lot of yarn in here.
There's a lot of yarn in here. So I am designing a series of shawls based off zodiac signs because I don't like the ones that are out there, so I'm making my own. And rather than just being me and making one for myself, I'm gonna make one for all the zodiacs. It seemed unfair just to make a Pisces one, so I'm taking the formats and I'm making one for all the signs. So I like shawl in a ball, and I wanted to use all sorts of different types of yarn so everybody could see that you can use acrylics, you can use fancy wools, you can use silk bamboos. Like, I wanted it to be across the board, so no matter what your yarn budget is, you know you can make something that's pretty with it. So one of them is going to be out of 2 shawl in a balls, because 1 shawl in a ball isn't quite enough. So you should have seen my poor dad trying to help me in the Boxing Day mess locate 2 shawl in a balls with the same name because they have the same color gradation.
Ooh.
That was interesting. This is not the only time we had to rely on my dad to help, because I went all the way to Michael's and forgot my cell phone, which is my magnifying glass.
Ooh.
So I will give one to Diana.
Love these colors.
Because I love shawl in a ball. It's polyester acrylic. One of the two.
Cotton acrylic and 5% other fiber. I'm gonna guess that's the shiny part.
It is, I think it might be sparkly enough to pick up on the camera.
I think so.
Yeah. So like there's a lot
parts
of sparkle going on in here.
Yes, it's
which
intensely
just
sparkly.
Gonna be so pretty when it's lit up with the lace pattern.
This is called Moonstone, by the way, this colorway.
Oh, good.
This
I thought that was the one we'd caught in the end.
There's a lot of this like red, gray, blue thing going on.
It definitely runs through, I wouldn't say like a red, but like a cranberry red.
Yeah.
Into a really beautiful blue gradient, blue-white gradient, dark, kind of bluey purple. To
definitely don't mind this pattern they've got on the ball band.
I want to make the ball band pattern at some point.
Yeah, like that looks nice.
Like, it looks nice. And because it's supposed to be a shell on a ball, you're supposed to be able to buy one of these and make the pattern.
I'd believe that.
So I am tempted to get another ball and just make the pattern on the ball band because it's a nice pattern. So this is going to turn, these two are going to turn into one of the zodiac shells this summer. Over the year. I just don't know what sign it should be for. So we'll decide that. We'll start piling yarn beside Diana. Then my mom found a couple of sock yarns that were on super sale. So I decided to try some different sock yarn. Because again, like everything else, I can afford to knit socks in Regia or like other fancy sock yarns. But not everybody can afford a $25 ball of sock yarn.
I've done the thumb gusset. Sorry to interrupt. I'm really excited. I've finally done it correctly this time.
No, that's important. Given how many times you had to do your thumb gusset. Absolutely. So I'm going to try making some socks out of some Snuggly Stripes wool. It's 425 yards, so I'll need contrasting toe, heel, and cuff. But I'm going to give this to Diana. It's loops and threads. Their new like ball band design, like the one they're doing a lot of their ball bands in, which is just the plain white background with the information in black text. Loops and threads, because I'm sure somebody from there watches.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea how beautiful this matte white with black font is. I know I'm not the only person on the planet who struggles to read some of these ball bands because there's too much going on. This is clean and classic and just beautiful.
It's probably cheaper to print too.
It has to be cheaper to print, but this is great because I didn't need my dad or my mom to read the ball band. I didn't need a magnifying glass to read the ball band. I didn't, and I know knitters as a relatively general rule tend to be older than my 36 years of age. Not everybody, but a chunk of us are. And I can't be the only person wearing bifocals knitting. I simply can't. There's no way.
Guaranteed you're not.
No way. I'm the only person with bifocals who knits. So being able to read the ball bands much easier is just, yes. So much yes. So I'm going to hand it over to Diana because this is how we do things. I don't know what we're going to do when she moves. I'm literally going to have to like send her pictures before we start recording so I can get the names of these things. Because if we wait for me, we'll be waiting forever.
This is color number 12, Tarragon.
It's pretty.
It is.
Yeah, and it feels like nice.
Yeah.
Because I know it's got some wool in it. It's got nylon in it.
Yep, 75% wool, 25% nylon.
Yeah. So like it's a real wool. It's normally like $6.99 for a ball, and I got it for $4.99. So like nice. It's a very reasonably priced wool, which is good because I know like budgets.
This marling thing going on.
They're just. I think they're going to be great socks.
They are going to be delicious socks.
I think with gray toes and heels.
Yeah.
I think gray toes and heels for
just
this one.
Plain knit socks or texture?
I don't know because I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Like the color rotates, so you get a nice sort of. And it goes through a lot of colors, but they're not high contrast, so you get a lot of blend. So you like blend from the reds to the greens to the yellows to the browns. Like there's a nice blend going. They're old man sock colors.
They absolutely are.
They're old man sock colors.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to make myself some old man socks with gray toes and gray heels and gray cuffs. And I am super stoked. Because at a size 10, 11 women's foot, I can do at 425 yards with contrasting toes and heels. Which, I won't lie, will probably be very expensive fancy sock yarn. Because that's what I like. So, but that wasn't it. We found more than one kind of sock yarn to try.
Excellent.
So I've got some socks lined up for the next year. This is the Striped Wonder Wool, which again is by Loops and Threads, and it's their yarn something or other. Anyway, this one's only 270 yards, so I absolutely need matching toes, heels, and cuffs. Like I could get away with the 425 on its own, but I can't with this one. But so I ended up buying 2 balls. So
it's got a string. Because
I've got the 2 balls at 270 yards, this is a beautiful gray to yellow, which I've never knit in a gray to yellow with no, like there's no other sort of intermixing colors. It is gray or yellow. It's another Loops and Threads. It's got another beautiful feel to it, but I don't remember what its mix is.
It is called Golden Taupe, and it is
I
made.
can see that, yeah, because it's like
out
a beigey gray.
It is 50% wool, 30% nylon, and 20% viscose.
Plant fibers.
Yeah.
So I have 2 balls, so I'm going to make knee-high socks. Gray.
That's going to make some...
Taupey, gray, brown, and yellow knee-high socks.
Cable?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're definitely cabling up the leg. Not up the foot. That's just ridiculous. Naked foot.
Yeah.
Cabled up the legs. Yes. Yeah, so super stoked about this.
It's going to look so good.
I know. And if I start them sometime in the summer, they'll be perfect for the fall when I get my fancy new boots.
Ooh.
I didn't buy winter boots this year. It's just going to kick me in the teeth come February. I'm saving to buy a pair of custom-made knee-high mucklucks. Like natural leather fur on the outside, lace-up mucklucks.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna order those in like July or August, so they're ready for me next fall. They're like $400, guys. They're not cheap boots, but the lady who makes them lives here in the city. She makes them with the plastic bottoms, and she does repairs for them. So as I wear them out, I can have them repaired. And with that and 2 layers of wool socks, which I usually put on underneath my winter boots anyway, I'm minus 40 easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. And I like the soft-sided mucklucks. The only thing I can't decide is if I want to have fur on the inside or fur on the outside. And I gotta make that choice before I put my order in. So I knew I was going to need some knee-high socks for next winter, and this will be the first pair I make.
I'm super pumped for those.
Again, $4.99 because I got them on sale at Boxing Day. So it's just like, also lets me work in yarn that's really accessible for people, which is great. You know me, I like to try to make things as accessible as possible if I can. Look, another plastic bag. Don't know why it's in there, but it is. So
Blame the cat.
I probably put it out. You know what? We can't, because that held her cat food. And she started playing with the cat bag, and I took it away from her. All right, for fun, I've always wanted to try we're not done, the Loops and Threads Wool Ease hand-dyed yarn. Because it looks interesting, but I could never justify it. And I really don't need a justification when it's on sale. So I picked up 4 of this blue variegated worsted. No idea what I'm going to make with it. But I knew 4 was more than enough to make something. But it's really, I have to actually hold the colors this way so I can see. So it's got blue, I would say like what, teal blue into a brown.
Some like navy on the bottom there?
Yeah, yeah. So
interesting.
It's very interesting. I've never worked with a fiber before. It feels nice. And I've never worked with this specific line. So I wanted to do that because it's something that started coming out. I suppose you don't need all 4 balls, hey? Like one will do?
One will do, yes.
Let's hand you 1 ball because I'm sure it's got a color.
Nice.
Like, it feels nice.
Wool Ease hand dyed. Let's see. You are 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So it's machine washer dryer friendly.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with machine washer dryer friendly.
You had been talking about making a second mallow.
Not enough for mallow.
Okay.
Yeah. Not at my size. But the 4 of these will make like a really nice scarf or mittens and a hat or something. Like, we'll make something.
Just hold up that feet
yeah.
there.
So it's a beautiful color range, and again, it's letting me the sale's letting me try a bunch of yarn I've never been able to try before, which is really exciting. So that was good. Though we went at like noon, and the thing was so picked over, it's not even funny.
Wow.
I was not getting up early. It did not matter. It's not happening.
I saw some people like get up at 5:30 in the morning on Boxing Day, and I'm like,
ridiculous. Nothing is worth that 5 a.m. wake up call, and I get up at 6.
No man, I got up at like noon that day.
I slept until 7:30. All right. Now, for the homemade house that I'm working towards, I found a pattern for a crocheted dusting mitt. And by me, I mean I was watching Debbie of the Canadian Crocheter, and she had made one, and I really liked it, so I stocked that pattern. Comes in handy, guys. We walked in the doors at Michael's. We didn't even get through the second door. And the Burnett Velvet was right there on sale for a big ball. And she used the velvet because it catches the dust easier. And she crocheted one of those. So I picked up a skein of the velvet, and I'm going to make myself some crocheted dusting mitts.
Nice.
So that I can stop. Ooh. Yeah. So I can stop using Lysol wipes or dusting, like other things that are disposable. So it's a goal towards the handmade house. And it's something I've been wanting to move towards because with the mitt, I can run my hand over things and I'm a lot better tactile-wise if I can touch stuff. So, making mitts. We're going there after this, so you might get a ball for yourself, hey?
Feels so nice.
It does.
100% polyester, and this color is misty gray.
Yeah, like, because it's a light color.
So nice.
It'll show the dirt nice and quick, which means I know when to wash it.
I just want to keep petting it.
Because it's polyester, I can wash it.
I like this.
I know. It's really pretty. It would also make great pillows for couches, or like a blanket.
I wonder what the stitch definition is like.
Not a hot clue. Haven't worked on it yet. This is all new to me yarn, which I'm super excited about. And the last of it, all 8 balls, are the same thing. So we're going to pull one ball out because there's like no space between me and Diane anymore. It's all gone. If you watch our Instagram stories, I actually proposed a question. Should I crochet cardigan A or cardigan B? They're both oversized drapey cardigans. They both use a size 5 yarn, 5 or 6 yarn, like the bulky yarn. Oh, look at this. It's a size 5 yarn and 8 balls of it. More than enough yardage for either pattern. And this is the Barcelona Deluxe. There are 328 yards per ball. It's a big ball.
Yeah.
And my dad helped me find 8 balls of glacier.
Whew.
And I needed, cozy. Yeah, it's an acrylic so I can wash it. But the Dwell cardigan, which is a crocheted cardigan with some nice detailings in it, it's not very different from my granny square crochet shrug I wear all the time, like the big bulky one.
Yeah.
It's fairly similar to that. So I'm going to make myself another one because I wear that one like all the time. So this is going to be my next one. So it is going to be one of those ones where I have to sit down and organize, like pull out the start of each ball and number the ball bands. So I transition from one color to another smoothly, because that's how that works. But the extra ball gives me the ability to make the sleeves longer or the body longer if I have to. So I like having space. Worst case scenario, I have leftover beautiful tonal gray colors, and it goes from a really light cream white, like winter white, into a really nice soft dubby gray color. Like it's a very good simulation of some of the color depths you get in glaciers in the cool tones. So very excited to try the Barcelona yarn, which I've been sort of wanting to try for a while. That's what I spent my grandpa's money on. I'm gonna shove everything back in here. But it was $114 after taxes.
That's a solid haul.
I did well, which is good because my budgets aren't amazing, but they're there, and I try to do what I can. I mean, trust me. I mean, I'll probably spend almost twice as much and have a quarter of the yarn after the January fiber fall. But
as one does.
As one does. But when I'm buying all naturally dyed all naturally dyed wool, it's fine. I don't mind. And I'm currently saving to get the, what is the name of that sweater by Dragon Horde Yarns I have?
Oh gosh, I don't remember, but I know which one you're talking about.
We both have it.
I know.
What the heck is it called? Starlight?
Star something like that.
Starbound,
Starlight, Star
something.
Bright, first star I see tonight.
Beautiful. We've moved into Christmas carols. It's a beautiful boxy sweater with a nice simple design to it. And I talked to one of our favorite local dyers, Cloud9 Fiberworks, and I'm getting her to work out the cost to get that done entirely in hand-dyed yarn. So like that's going to be several $100s for one sweater. Yeah. But you know what? That's fine. Balance, people. It's all about balance. I've had too much sugar and too much coffee. We talked about all of our yarn. What's next?
Kniterature.
I'm reading a textbook for fun.
I am not.
This morning, I started Decline of Magic. It is about the decline of common beliefs in magic in Europe, specifically England in the 16th and 17th century. And I started reading it at 6:30 this morning and looked at the clock at 12:30 and went, oh my god, Diana's coming over in a half hour and I haven't showered. Oops. So we know I like it. However, I'm going to say if you're not into history, perhaps not your thing.
Alright. My thing that I've been reading, I needed a new audiobook, so I'm listening to Good Omens. Because I watched the show and I absolutely loved the show.
The show's amazing.
So I'm listening to the book, and I highly recommend the audiobook. The narrator is fantastic.
Oh, wonderful. I will add it to my list for next year.
The writing is so delightfully British. It's that British style of comedy that's just that dry, sarcastic humor that I just love.
That's why I liked the show so much.
And the narrator's so good. He's got different voices for every single character.
Good. Excellent.
Some of them even have different accents. It's...
Oh, I just want to rewatch the show now.
I know, I want to rewatch the show too.
So good. We'll have to binge that one weekend while packing.
Yes, Mr. Diane is not into watching it again so soon, but I really want to watch it again. So
we will totally do that while we're packing.
Yes. Okay.
Anime and Good Omens. Plans.
So that's Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend both the book and the show, and particularly the audiobook.
You should listen to Discworld. Or read Discworld by Terry Pratchett.
I think I read some of it a long time ago.
Freaking amazing series.
Something about Rincewind.
Yeah, he's a wizard. He's not a very good wizard, but
that's about all I remember. It's something about turtles all the way down.
And the world is turtles all the way down.
Turtles all the way down. Okay.
Because it's a disc on top of 4 elephants on top of turtles. And then it's just turtles from there on down.
Turtles all the way down.
Turtles all the way down. But I mean, how can
down
you not...
to what? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Well, it's because they can only hang off so far the edge of the lip to see down the elephants. They only glimpse the first turtles. They've got science. It's just odd science. That's all. No, it's an expansive world, and it's quite delightful.
I should read more of that.
That's like my Blood Bowl football team is named after the guards in the capital city in Discworld.
Nice.
Hey, listen, I have Constable Reginald Shue. He's still alive. It's a good series.
I'm gonna have to find like the local Blood Bowl league when I get to Waterloo.
I think you would really enjoy, and it'd be a good way to start making friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which will be the big hurdle when you first get there. You guys need a local LYS.
Yeah.
And you both need a local to you Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys will do fine. If you can get into your hobbies, I think you'll be okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's everything.
Oh my gosh.
That's everything I had written down anyway.
Perfect. In which case, I'm going to say bye 2019. Hello 2020. Until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit. Hit the stop button. We got to go to Michael's.
Oh, I missed.